All right, we are back. Cheers. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Spencer Israel, Steve Strazza, JC Parets, Alfonso de Pablos with you on this fine, albeit somewhat chilly Monday morning here in the Northeast. Hope you all had a great weekend. If you missed us on Friday, hope you had a great Thanksgiving and long weekend and rested and the food and the football and all that good stuff. We are back in the saddle. It is December 2nd, which means we need to talk about the latest batch of monthly candles that we got, I guess, over the weekend, right? The monthlies turned over. So we'll talk about that today. And we'll see how far that gets us. A couple stocks on my list as well I want to get to. We'll be joined by Kenny Glick. We'll be joined by Jason Purz. We didn't hear from Sean last week, so maybe we'll have Sean hop on for a few minutes. And that'll be the plan. So what up, chat? How we doing? Chat's all good? Everyone's here. Happy December. Indeed, the vibes are good. Dare I say immaculate. It's like the happiest time of the year. It's the holiday season. Donovan's coworkers are asking him about meme coins. Great. Bull market. Let's go. Here we go. Run the intro.
All right, we're back.
Hey,
back after a little Thanksgiving hiatus.
A little bit.
How was how was your Thanksgiving? Did you guys eat turkey, or are you one of these steak for Thanksgiving people?
No. We had turkey on We had our Thanksgiving kind of on Friday, so we had turkey on Friday. But I baked a ham on like Tuesday, so I had some Thanksgiving ham as well. So that was quite good. I enjoyed that.
Went full turkey. Full turkey.
Yeah.
You know, I did the brine this year. It was a little salty. I didn't wash off the salt enough. I have like a sensitive when things are a little too salty. Like it was fine. Everybody loved it. For me, my taste, a little too much salt because of the brine. So I gotta wash the brine off a little more next year. Lesson
Okay.
learned.
Live and learn.
Right, Spencer?
Live and learn. Live and
And
learn.
what about you? You still using that fake garlic, or are you using real garlic now?
I mean, I didn't make the turkey, so but yeah, still using fake garlic. Used it in the mashed potatoes that came out great.
I hope you
So
feel guilty about that every time you do that. Be like,
I don't.
JC somewhere in the world is just disappointed. That's what I want you to think every time you use that fake garlic. You don't even have any kids. You have so much time on your hands to actually do it right, Spencer.
I did it one. I did it one time, and I was like, "This is annoying. I don't want to do this again."
Well, I'll show you a few tricks. I do it really, really fast. So I'll show you a few tricks there.
Okay.
What do you say? We got a lot to talk about in the market. What do you say?
Yeah,
We hit it?
we got Strazza here, so let's go. State of the markets. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the Dow futures doing absolutely nothing this morning. There is literally nothing happening at all in the Dow. 45,000 even. Wow, the fact that the Dow is even at 45,000. Just saying it out loud. Saying it out loud for the first time, actually. Wow, 45,000 for the Dow. S&P 500 futures also flat. 6,050, right? Just hanging in there above 6,000. So you got the Dow at 45,000. S&P at 6,000. The NASDAQ 100 above 21,000. Actually up 15 basis points on the day. Bond futures down, 30-year bond futures down 1/3%. Crude oil up 1.5%, right at that 69 level. Boy, does crude oil love 69. Copper down 1/3%, 412. Gold down 0.5%, 26.66. Silver also down 0.5%, just under 31, with the volatility index right at 14, slightly up on the day. Over in funny money land, boy, have we seen some action. Bitcoin down 1,500 points this morning, 95,700. Ethereum down 2.5% today, 3,600 and change. Solana 225 down 5% on the day. Binance just under 640, down almost 3%. Total crypto market cap, Mr. Spencer Israel, hitting new all-time highs over the weekend, 3.33 trillion. With the Bitcoin dominance getting hit hard, down under 57%. And those are the futures this morning. What stands out the most?
I know we were at all-time highs, crypto market cap. That's great. That being
Throw up
said,
slide 4. Throw up slide 4.
I was keeping an eye on the crypto thing this weekend, and I got to say, it was a little bit, dare I say, muted. I expected more. Steve, can I bring you on? You're good. All right. I expected more from the cryptos this weekend. I don't know why I did, but I did.
Well, how are you looking at it?
Yeah, do you expect more volatility or more upside? What do you mean by expecting
more upside is what I was thinking.
And well, you're probably focusing on the majors.
That's exactly right. And I thought about that too.
The blue chips. The blue chips.
So if you're focusing on the blue chips, Spencer, it does look and feel that way because it is that way. They're cooling off and they're passing the baton down the cap scale and out on the risk spectrum. H-bar was up like 50% again yesterday. Cardano, Algo. Do you remember Algo, JC? This thing's up 100% over the past couple weeks.
Algorand. Can I tell you an Algorand story? But
you are seeing strength down the cap scale, and you're seeing market internals actually improve in crypto, while some of us are sitting here being frustrated that Solana or Bitcoin or Ethereum maybe aren't participating the way that they were.
Dude, years ago, first of all, the names that you're bringing up, H-bar, I remember walking around my neighborhood texting Strazza on a Saturday morning about H-bar, like multiple cycles ago. Yeah. One time on Algorand, I was irresponsibly long Algorand. This is years ago. And, I fell asleep on the couch watching a movie or something. And I went to the bathroom before going to bed, and I was just checking the futures because that's, what I was doing, particularly at that time when I was overexposed. Dude, something happened in South Korea. I think Algorand got added to some exchange in South Korea or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I was up like $200,000 while I fell asleep on the couch. And I'm like, wow, that's great. Cheers to me. And then I went to sleep. By the time I woke up, it had given it all back. It's like 200 grand, 180 grand, something like that. Gone.
Wild child.
It was almost like a bad dream, like it never even happened. But if you go back and you go look at that candlestick in Algorand, it's still there. You can go see it. That was me. Holding the bag.
Dude, that's a crazy one. So the one that's getting all the attention appropriately due to its size is Ripple. So a great comment somebody just threw in the chat. Ripple flipped Solana. The thing's gone from under $1 to like 2 and change over the past 2 weeks. Huge move from Ripple. I got one for you. The Litecoin is about to do a Ripple. It's all of these old cycle, I'm going to call them legacy tokens. These are legacy tokens. We had them back in 2017.
Go back and look. Thursday, November 18th of 2021. Go look at that Algorand chart. Look at that candlestick, dude. It went from 185 to 285 and then gave it all the way back.
So I can't help but wonder about this. And I think back to the conversations that I overheard at the barbershop a week or two ago. And it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter, but it's fun to talk about these things. Could this situation where all of the legacy coins are mooning, every other day here, could the situation be as simple as bag holders are once again opening up their accounts, looking at all their old positions, seeing how well the Doge or the Ripple or the Algo that they had many years ago and used to pay attention to in their Coinbase account, seeing how well they're doing and buying more of those? It's not the new tokens that are ripping. Sheep had a great weekend. I'll give it to Sheep. But outside of that, they're all old cycle coins.
Well, the meme tokens in general have been showing relative strength for quite some time. Bitcoin has been a massive underperformer.
Floki, Sheep, Doge, like some sweet coils.
I got one more crypto chart, and we can move on to TradFi. Throw up the Bitcoin dominance, making new 3-month lows. So if you're looking for some rotation into the alts, which is exactly what Mr. Strazza is talking about here. If you're looking for rotation into alts, this is a pretty good start. Wouldn't you say, Strazza?
This is interesting. This ratio has not been oversold in a very long time.
I like how you called it a ratio.
Well, it is, right?
A Freudian slip because it's basically a BTC ETH ratio.
It's a ratio. It's BTC versus everything else.
Dude, you got Ethereum is 435 billion. Ripple's only 140. Solana's 107. So this really is just representative of some relative strength that we've seen out of Ethereum. That's what's knocking down this Bitcoin dominance. I don't think that that's going to last forever. But right now, it's the Bitcoin dominance is essentially just an inverse of the Ethereum relative strength. I have a funny feeling that Solana and some of the others will eventually catch up to Ethereum, and Ethereum won't be as large of a market capitalization as some of these others. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe ETH continues to
happening.
dominate. Who knows? But I think that others are going to catch up, and it won't be like this in the future.
It's already happening. I would love to see an Ethereum dominance chart. It's probably been in a downtrend for 2 years now.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Okay. Back to TradFi. I think this is a big one. Throw up slide 2. This is a monster one, folks. You know, in healthy market environments, in environments where investors are getting rewarded for owning stocks, these lines go down. They go down. And in environments where investors are being rewarded for having a lot of cash and for selling stocks, these lines are going up. But these are monthly closing lows, all-time lows for consumer staples relative to the rest of the market on both a market cap weighted and an equally weighted basis. Strazza, how do you feel about that?
You know, I was writing about relative strength this weekend and last week, and I was saying, after thinking long and hard about it, that the staples and the discretionary ratios are the best that we have. From an intermarket perspective, when you're looking at some of these ratio charts or leadership charts to try and get a vibe or a gauge on how the broader market is doing or the health of the overall market, what is better than discretionary and staples? Seeing a new low in XLP SPY, fantastic. Seeing confirmation from the equal weight ratio, this is as bullish as it gets. This is one that I do overthink.
Is this as bullish as it gets, or is this next one as bullish as it gets? Can you go to the next one, please? How about this one? Is this not more bullish? Is this equally as bullish?
We could keep going, right?
We want to keep going?
This is a blog post because now you got to throw up the equal weight discretionary versus equal weight staples, breaking out of like a 15-year base. These are big patterns. These are big pattern resolutions.
And you know what I love about this? You know, I get a lot of pushback sometimes when I put charts out there. It's like, well, Jay-Z, it doesn't count because Amazon is such a big percentage and Tesla is such a big percentage. You know, the consumer's dead, can't afford anything. Well, how about on an equally weighted basis when you completely take Amazon and Tesla out of the equation completely? Like they're not even in the formula. Like that's how much out of the equation that they're in. They're not even in the top 10. And they represent an irrelevant percentage of the index. Also coming out of a multi-year base, making new all-time highs.
And you know this, like I'm one to say, hey, let's look at the equal weight. That's probably a better, gauge of what's really going on in the sector. But you can't remove the fact that Tesla and Amazon and some of these large weightings in XLY are very important stocks in the U.S. stock market, right? These are the largest discretionary companies in the world. So they're weighed appropriately, right? So it's not like market cap or equal weight. They should both be saying the same thing. And right now they are. So that, that argument doesn't even matter.
Yeah, when I sent out a note over the weekend and I was actually saying, you can argue that the equally weighted index is more important than the market cap weighted index because it gives you a broader perspective. But you can also argue that Amazon should be 22% of the consumer. I got Amazon in my house every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Yeah, man.
It probably should be more than 22%.
You're really good,
right?
Are you shopping the Cyber Monday deals?
Dude, I bought 4, maybe 5, I forget, 4 or 5 pairs of shoes on StockX the other day.
Sicko.
So I sorted, let me tell you what I did. I sorted by shoe release pre-2001, because you can't go back further. So I wanted shoes released last millennium.
Yeah.
And then I sorted by lowest price.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm finding like old school Adidas and old school Nikes, like for nothing, 50, 60 bucks. I bought like 5 pairs, all kinds of stuff.
So you were shopping the deals.
I think it's just a coincidence. I do that sometimes when I'm stressed out.
I didn't know you were such a big shoe guy. You're a shoe guy.
I think I only became a shoe guy once I started getting a little bit of money and like once I started building some wealth. And then I started like buying shoes that like my parents couldn't afford to buy me when I was younger. And now it's kind of like, fuck you, shoe gods. Now I can buy, I'll buy 2 pair of those Charles Barkley 1996 and Reebok. These are I got pumps. Look at these.
No, it's fun to have someone to collect.
I got the pumps. I got the original pumps. Look at this.
Oh yeah, I remember them well.
These are the biggest, most uncomfortable shoes you will ever wear in your life. But I have them. Look at this.
Circa 2006.
But
no,
my family couldn't afford these shoes when I was, so I just
that
bought
old
shoes that I wanted.
Do you have the the shoes that I can never get were those T-Max. I always wanted the T-Max.
They
Those
look
are
so
they're like
cool.
$100.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the Filas? What was his face from North Carolina? What was his name?
Vince?
No,
Carter?
man. What was the
don't know.
guy from North Carolina with the Filas?
Lawrence Taylor.
I don't know.
Lawrence Taylor. No, man.
Michael Jordan.
Come on, guys.
Michael Jordan is from North Carolina.
No, Michael Jordan is from North Carolina. No, not the Jordans.
Vince Carter.
Nope. Come on, guys. Anybody?
Antoine Jameson.
Nope.
Okay, enough of this game. I don't care anymore.
What was his name? He had the Filas. He was the only one with the Filas. Nobody, guys? Come on. All
Okay.
right. Anyway, shout out StockX.
Shout out StockX. Yeah.
Shout out StockX.
Oh, Grant Hill. There you go.
Hey, what is
Grant
this?
Hill? No, it wasn't Grant Hill. It wasn't Grant Hill.
I just
Stackhouse.
I just
Grant Hill
googled.
Duke, bro.
It was
Who cares?
Stackhouse. It was Stackhouse. Yeah,
Whatever.
Grant Hill went to Duke.
Oh, Stackhouse. So what are the homies in the chat talking about? This thing on Twitter this weekend? I missed something on Twitter. I wasn't really paying attention to the socials this weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. So nice. We took a nice little drive up to the Lower Keys, hit a flea market, a spontaneous flea market. I bought so much cheese. Just a nice, lazy weekend. Anyway, there was a Twitter fight about a melt up. Did I miss something?
Dude, I do like country club stuff now, and they had a gingerbread making situation at the country club yesterday with the kids making gingerbread houses, open bar, carving stations. Dude, this is ridiculous, man. I'm so into this like suburb life, like country club thing. I'm so in, dude.
You're dadding hard.
I'm dadding so hard, and I was with other dads that were dadding hard, and they don't play golf either. So we were like, setting up like tennis, right?
Yeah.
They're like me, where like their friends play golf, and like we go with them, like when you come visit,
You got like a non-golfer group.
I do.
Nice.
I do.
Nice.
We go to the kids' events. All right. I got a chart. Can we throw up slide? Let's start with 6, and then we'll go to 7. Start with slide 6. This is a good one. So this is the largest company on the planet. I don't know if you checked, but NVIDIA no longer the biggest company in the world. Apple, 3.6 trillion, which is alone larger than all of the cryptocurrencies in the world combined. So when you talk about like cryptocurrencies, they're so small and irrelevant. All the cryptocurrencies could go to zero tomorrow, and it won't matter to anybody who matters. And I say that in a very bullish manner because they're so small and irrelevant. One company in the S&P 500 is larger than the entire asset class. Apple making new all-time highs despite the struggles that technology has had since the summer. How do we feel about this one?
I love to see it, first of all, JC. Back on top. Good for Apple. Also, same theme. You were just talking about Tesla and Amazon and some other very large discretionary companies. I think you can make an argument. This is the largest consumer company in the world. New all-time highs. Confirmation of that theme we were just talking about.
I asked Jeff Mackey that the other day, and he says it was a tech stock.
Dude, I think you can argue
it's a tech stock too.
It's a luxury staple.
No, but I feel like if it was like a consumer stock, like Jeff Mackey would be pounding the table about a consumer. He says it's technology. I was kind of a little bit surprised by his answer. Should we push back? Should we invite him on and push back on that a little bit?
Yes.
I'll push back, and he won't disagree. It's Apple. That's what it is. It's Apple. It's its own thing. It's its own sector. It's its own country. It's its own. I mean, it's just Apple. It toes the line of communications. It toes the line of discretionary. Of course, they were started and born as a tech company, but it's a consumer brand. It's the largest consumer brand in the world.
The equally weighted technology index also made a new all-time monthly closing high. FYI.
Listen, none of the stuff that we're saying is bearish.
Speaking of not bearish, next chart, please, my good man.
A lot of charts from you.
Yeah.
Man.
A lot of late night charting for me this weekend. A lot of late night charting. Put the kids down. Open a bottle of Barolo because it's a bull market. You drink Barolo in bull markets, bro.
Bull market wine. Were you late
wine? No question.
Were you late night spacing this weekend?
Was I doing some late night spacing? I think Saturday night I may have hopped in one because what happens is I don't mean to, but like I just listened to the Perma Bear spaces so I could hear what like the psychopaths are saying. like to take the other
No,
side,
no,
like as I'm
no,
going
you
chart by
should.
chart, doing
Yeah,
my
you
charting,
should.
minding my own business, and I see new high, new high, new high, and then I go to the perma-bear spaces, and they're like, "Oh my God, the great financial crisis is coming any minute, and Donald Trump's going to ruin everything." And like, I need to hear the other side, and then they just invite me on, and they're like, "JC, why don't you come on and tell us what you think?" And then I get on, and they're like, "JC, don't start with this is a gloom and doom spaces. Don't come here with all your positivity." Like that's how this starts. I'm like, bro, I don't know. What do you want from me?
Great comment in the chat. I feel like you agree with this, JC. Strazza, I can't wait for you to have kids. You can shove your nice and lazy weekend.
Yeah, you tell them.
Okay.
Whoever said that is absolutely right.
Who said that?
Dude, I'm up like at 6:15 in the morning, screaming kids.
Breakfast.
Dude, I've watched Moana. I probably watched Moana 15 times this weekend.
So, did you guys see the article in the Wall Street
Strazza
Journal?
has no idea what Moana is.
No.
No,
Really
it is.
interesting article in the Wall Street Journal. Moana has been a smash hit for Disney, but in the strangest way. So when it came out in the box office, it was a total dud. It was like 3, 4, 5 on the list of just Disney movies that year. Right? It was not a box office hit. Now, as of like just recently, it's the #1 streaming movie in the world. Moana. So
Screamed
like
a hell of a lot. I saw Moana 2 on Friday.
I can't wait to see it. Is it just in theaters?
Yeah, for a month, and then it'll be on Disney Plus like December 20th or something like that.
Moana was a great movie. I don't know why it wasn't like initially successful, but what a comeback story for Moana.
Moana, make
Rock's
way,
still good
make
in that.
way.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite Disney movies. I think it's excellent. I think it's so good.
Never seen it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You'll when you have kids, you're gonna watch all these movies, Spencer.
All right.
I'm actually staying at the Polynesian in Disney coming up like in a few weeks, and it's now all Moana themed.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Here I got a chart for you to kind of round out this conversation. So this is one of my favorite patterns.
After this chart, I'm bringing Kenny on.
This might be my favorite pattern. I don't
Larry
know.
Johnson, baby.
This actually might be my favorite pattern in the world. I'm not sure. We're gonna make this slide 2 the real star of the morning show. Slide 2 here, please, Mr. Spencer Israel, my good man. Then we'll bring in a 1 Kenny Glick. Is this not the best pattern ever? Come on.
These work. These really work.
Not a top pattern.
You know, I keep thinking about the Baidu one, but we've seen this. We saw it with McDonald's. Apple had something like this going on last
10
year.
years.
Huge fail. You know, betting against topping formations in the strongest of bull markets is
in consumer stocks with Moana 2 coming out and Mufasa, Lion King 2, the prequel to the Lion King comes out in 3 weeks. And you're going to short Disney?
I saw a trailer. I went to the movies last night. I saw the trailer. We don't need, nobody asked for this. We don't need that. We don't need that.
I want to see.
I need it. Are you kidding me? Mufasa and Scar like coming up together in the world? Come on.
Don't need it.
Bro. It's gonna be
I want to see the new Gladiator.
I heard it was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
How could that be terrible?
Steve, I'm gonna go, but I also heard it was not good. But I'm going.
Denzel could win awards for it. No, that's not a thing anymore.
I'm going.
Denzel just wins awards, I think is what it is.
It's just so good.
Yeah. That's it. We just throw up the Disney. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
No, I mean I care.
I care.
I care.
Listen, I think you guys
you're hating on Mufasa the movie, bro.
You guys really picked some excellent entries in this stock. What, last year?
Yep. Pull back, retested, and now we're off to the races.
Spencer, not you.
Not me. You're not talking to me. No, you are not talking to me.
Dude, if you have kids, you got to be long Disney because you're going to this place. Dude, I'm down 15 large. I haven't even left yet. I haven't even gotten there. I'm down 15 grand, bro. $12 hot dogs. Are you shitting me? So the way I look at it, if you can't beat them, join them. Charge $20. Let's go, baby. I'm in.
Speaking of these
$12 hot dogs.
I think of the Baidu. I think of China, right? In terms of fading tops. Dude, China is quietly waking up here. No one's really paying attention to it. I think
Speaking of Chinese, let's bring on Kenny Glick.
Sure.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Kenny Glick, happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Oh, Kenny
Wait,
Glick,
you're on
on
mute.
mute. On
Wait,
mute
unmute
again.
yourself.
Kenny
There we
Glick,
go.
first timer.
That is
First
good.
timer there, Kenny.
I'm getting over the boredom of the Gladiator movie. You like Gladiator movies? I like barbarian movies better. What's up?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
What?
What is that?
What do you have in your house, Kenny?
Where does one even get that?
That's right. I take my sword seriously. Yeah, this is more of a barbarian than a gladiator sword. But yeah, it was boring. It's a wanting movie. It's trying so hard, and Denzel's not that good. And it's just you don't have to watch it. Go get it. Go get it. Go rent it. It's not that good.
Wow.
I watched it at home. That might be something to it because it's more of an and it's built for the big screen. But you know
How'd you
what?
watch it at home?
You can bootleg anything nowadays.
I was gonna say, you got one of these bootleg DVDs. They still do that in Jersey?
He's
Yeah,
using Flex.
DVDs. I got my Blu-ray player out actually. Yeah. What's up, y'all?
All right, so listen, we had kind of like a weird, low volume sort of situation over the last few days. How do you approach this? Everyone's back, back at the desks last month of the year. Let's try not to screw this up. It's been a hell of a year for all of us. Let's try not to screw it up. How do you think about it?
I gotta tell you, I think everybody knew I was going to be around on Friday, so it was the best Friday after Thanksgiving in 30 years, and I've been doing this my whole life. Usually, it's kind of a boring day. It was as if they said, "Kenny, we're just going to run your stocks today to make everybody happy." So we stuck with the solar with Strazza and Sedge, but it was the lunar trade, it was the space trade, unusual machines and all kinds of machines. So you got UMAC and you got lunar. So the word machine that was in the algo, but it was really the lunar trade. The stock basically broke out again. Every consolidation leads to a break. And if you're looking at the stock, the reason I like the lunar better than these other ones, the quantum computing stocks, is that this one has options and they're pretty good. You got half point increments and you got Friday expiration. So if you were looking at those 15 or 1550s, let alone the 16 and the 1650s on Friday, we're talking about 20, 30 baggers. That's 20 times your money, Holmes. So yeah, it was interesting. This UMAC is another story here. Again, something has to do with Trump Jr. being on the board, but it's just the next phase. We've got the AI, the drones in space, and now we're going specifically with the drones. So Joby, remember Joby? That's been back in play. And then we've got some little guys. What was the one? We had Xena, ZENA, but the little guys. So basically the way it goes is that you got a couple of the well-known drone stocks, and then you got the lower ones like the PRZO. You want to see this one? Take a look at that one today. And of course, my favorite, the Mob, MOB. That's an Israeli drone company out of Israel. So sticking with where the money's going, that's been the play. And Friday was probably, I'm going to go ahead and say, the best Friday I've ever seen, because you had options clicking, you had the swing trades were working, and the market was a lot more active than I had seen in many, 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 many years. So today looks kind of boring.
And then, so do you want to just be patient after such a successful day, Kenny? Like, big day Friday, kind of new week. Like, do you want to be patient, or do you want to be aggressive and press it when the opportunities come? Like, how do you think about that?
Yeah, well, you know what? We came in Friday with the same kind of attitude. We had the Dallas Cowboy money over the Giants, and of course we hit the quadfecta of all things awful in my life. So I bet. By the way, I didn't want to talk about Glick's picks, but I will. I bet against what I don't want to see. So basically, Dallas over Detroit. Dallas over the Giants. I took the 17.5 with Georgia Tech, which was the sickest game in history I think I've ever watched, the SEC. You had that, and you had also the Jets. Beautiful, again, 14-point lead. I put it up there on Twitter. That's when you bet against them. But again, yeah, we come in. It's the same thing like the casino. You had a good day. You pocket some money. You come in today and you say, all right, let's see what we got. Chances are we're going to go up. UVXY is descending every day. There's no volatility in this market. And right now, the rug pullers, that's what they're going to hold on to. So if this market's too complacent, it's too bullish, there's going to be a rug pull. Let me know. Let me know when that rug pull comes, because we had a rug pull 2 Fridays ago, and we've gone up pretty much every single day since then. But the thing is, you stick with what's hot. The market was relatively, just quietly bullish on Friday, but underneath there's so much going on. And when there's not something going on in the QQQ and the SPYs, I mean, just find another sector of stocks going crazy, because this UMAC and this unusual machine stocks, they're phenomenal. This Lunar looks really, really interesting because it could go up another 12 points here easy on the Lunar.
Boom! These space stocks, man. It's a bull market when, you just keep saying how the space stocks are mooning.
Yes.
Like the space stocks mooning is like the most 2024 thing I've heard.
Yeah.
And then I saw that the announcer for Syracuse was complaining that Sebastian Yves, which is the mascot for the University of Miami Hurricanes, was hitting on her.
Yeah.
So the New York Post is reporting how the sideline reporter for Syracuse was upset that the mascot for Miami was hitting on her. I thought also classic Miami right there.
Slow news day.
Kenny, I know you have your scanners, right? And that's how you find the biggest movers every day. But do you
How many scanners does one need, Kenny?
But hold on. Do you keep a list or like in your head or otherwise of the stocks of like yesteryear that you maybe want to check up on? Oh, it's been 2 years. Oh, it's been 5 years. But this one was on fire back in the day. Do you ever do that?
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this for so long that's why it's easy for me to conjure these up. I have watch lists that are just underneath the other watch lists. So yeah, we've been doing this so long that when we talk about the pin action, we say, hey, you remember that one? Oh wow, this one's coming back. Oh, you remember this one? Like VRAR. If you guys don't even remember that one, that was when yeah. So it's like there's always the underlings. There's always and then we call them the ninth circle of hell. You're the scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how some of these stocks come back. But remember, my friends, the one thing about the bull market, everybody says how it makes geniuses of us all. It makes you make mistakes that you wouldn't normally make. I mean, sorry, you'd make them, but now you're being rewarded. Right now, swing trading, investing, and day trading is all working. Something's going to give. I'm not the best swing trader, and right now, that's where the money's being made. So again, that's probably not going to last. So I'm a little nervous right now, but again, I've been nervous for a while, and the market never goes down. So it's a great environment.
You are Kenny Glick. You are the most bullish perma bear I have ever met.
I know. I'm long everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question before we let you go, Kenny. Throw up the mob. Is this one of the well-known drones or one of the unknown drones?
I'm thinking this one was a more well-known one because we were on this one last year when they had the mob. The drones play, but this one's I like this one especially because it's about to hit the 250 mark. So above 250, it attracts a whole group of different people. So yeah, I like the symbol too. So join the mob.
Why? So why 250? First of all, Hall of Fame ticker
between New Jersey and Brooklyn, Kenny. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Hall of Fame ticker. But Kenny, how much weight? I know you're dropping VWAPs all over your short-term charts when you're trading during the day. But do you ever drop them from like a prior cycle high or an IPO date, and how much weight do you give something like this? Because Mob is running right up into its VWAP from its IPO date. I love that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah. Yes. We're looking at basically the lifetime VWAP on Mob. It's at around 245. That's what's big right now. So above that, and we're looking at the only big candle after that is from way back in 2023. So July, you looked at a price around 333. That's where I think we're going. So you're right on target, my man.
That's great. Love it. Mob deep.
All right, guys, hitthebid.com. Kenny's there right now every morning.
All right, be careful because, again, if you don't have a sword, this market could get you. All right? I bless you.
Dude, the fact that Kenny has that sword is ridiculous, man.
It's dangerous.
Once a week, Kenny will bring on some ridiculous thing that he owns.
Some added props.
Yeah.
He's a great prop guy.
I've been to every time I'm in Tokyo and in Kyoto too, I want to come back with a big sword. Because like you go to the fish markets and like they sell like the knives for like the tuna, but then they have like the big samurai swords because they cut the tuna with these samurai swords. And I understand like they're different than samurai swords, but like to me as like Cubans from Miami, we don't have samurai swords. We don't have any samurais in Cuba. Machetes mostly. Right. And machete, as they say. So we don't have that stuff. So for me, a samurai sword and the tuna one, they look the same to me. I know I'm sure there are differences, but I want one so bad just to like put behind me, You
ever just watch those like Instagram videos of them cutting a tuna, but it's like sped up?
I've seen many of those videos. actually.
wild.
That's becoming like a cool new concept at restaurants in like big metropolitan areas. Have you heard of this? You go, you pay like something ridiculous, like $500, and they have a giant tuna in the restaurant, and they're like carving it up and cutting it up and serving it all these different ways. Have you heard of this?
No.
All right, a couple of headlines I want to get to real fast.
The comma, underrated. The comma. The Americans don't get the comma. They keep that for themselves.
The neck?
Yeah, the jowls.
Okay, a couple of headlines real fast. We do have some news in SMCI this morning. It is up 14%, give or take. Their independent review, independent special committee review was completed. We found no evidence of misconduct.
You're talking about Super Micro again?
Yeah.
Told you.
So
Saying this all along.
That's
I
up.
wonder
That's
what
up
the hell happened
14%
with their
this
author.
morning. That's kind of your big gainer of the day.
I would love to know what really went on there.
I don't know.
So what happened? They couldn't file their things, and now they can.
Yeah, they filed, but the auditor bailed, right? Which is never good. Ernst walked, and it usually takes a lot for that to happen. And now it's coming out. They did an independent review, and it's okay. Here's the thing about these independent reviews. Are they going to catch anything? I don't know. Maybe. It's more of a CYA exercise than anything.
Oh, that's a good point, Strazza. Strazza makes a good point.
But this has been quite a drama unfolding here over the past month or two in Super Micro. I mean, they really discounted this thing when they lost their auditor. So still paring back some of those losses
for good reason, right? Because it's
totally
not usually they're usually not leaving because things are so good and so easy to.
When something like that happens, it's like a CFO departure. You shoot first and ask questions later. Every time.
How about my mug this morning? Can we talk about my mug?
Oh, that's sick.
I know.
That looks like something you could get in Key West.
It is. This is from Cape May, so not too different.
Sick. I get it.
Speaking of CEO departures, Strazza, Stellantis.
So what happened? This was a surprise. He just took off. What happened there?
I'm guessing their results are really bad, right? Is sort of reading between the lines. They didn't actually say that. It was just a difference of opinion with the board of directors, but their sales must be terrible if you get fired effective immediately Thanksgiving weekend. I mean,
I'll tell you one thing that this guy did well. Okay, under his reign, they made a great investment. Do we have the Archer Aviation chart? So Stellantis, one of the big automakers, big four. What is it? Big three, big four. How many are there now?
Yeah, it's Jeep, it's Chrysler.
That's their brands.
Yeah.
So they're one of the big boys, and they have a massive investment, over $100 million investment in Archer Aviation. These little mini helicopters are really becoming a thing. Have you seen these stocks, Joby and Archer? Do we have the chart? We need this Archer chart. I mean, it's up like 20% every day. Wow. We're in the warrants.
And then, so what do you think? So Stellantis is investing in this thing for the engine stuff?
They're funding them. I think I don't know if it's a hedge for the car companies or they see some sort of future in these guys and they want to be involved. So Toyota is funding Joby, their competitor. So big equity investment from Toyota in Joby, big equity investment from Stellantis in Archer. They're basically just funding the research and development. And it seems like these things are, they're gonna bring these things to the public sooner than was originally thought. Very cool.
So yeah, I guess no one's buying Jeeps though. Is the bottom line.
Can we talk about how I'm getting hated on? Can you believe me?
Why?
Can you believe that? People hating on me? Can you believe that, Strazza?
Yeah.
The nerve of people. So here's what they're saying. You want to hear what they're saying?
Yeah.
They are saying that JC would draw a smiley face on any chart that he could find.
Oh, no, they didn't.
They're telling me that. Can you believe that? Can you believe that shit?
Here's the thing.
So to be fair, there are a lot of smiley faces on my charts these days, but is that a function of the market or is that just my desire to put smiley faces on?
We say bull markets are more fun. Also, during bull markets, there are more smiley faces on charts. We don't make the rules. That's because there are reversal patterns or bases that are resolving higher that turn out to be accumulation patterns. And we draw those like happy faces.
Yeah.
As opposed to the distribution ones, which are sad faces.
But I could see how somebody who might be new might think this fucking guy, Permabull over here with his smiley faces.
Well,
you know, like I get it. I get it.
Totally. And I'll just tell a story because I know this has happened to you several times in your career. And I remember back to a time, it was October 2021. And I was in San Francisco giving a presentation at the TSAA. And all I was saying was, look at this top. Look at this distribution pattern. Look at this frowny face. As opposed to today where we're saying, look at the smiley face. Look at the base. Look at the rounding bottom. There are times when the market is peaking and rolling over right before a bear market where there's nothing but frowny faces on our charts. And we've both given presentations where we can't stop pointing out the frowny faces too.
That's right.
And there will come a time when that's the case again in the future.
It's true. But you know, like to be fair, like people sometimes they're new to us. Like, so I put out a tweet, right? So there's some old guy. I'm supposed to know who he is. I've never heard of the guy in my life. And he's very upset because I called out how melt up is something that the perma bears learned over the decades that is great for perma bears, because when they're wrong, which is often, they blame it on a melt up, right? And like,
it's crazy.
I talk to the marketing guys because all the financial publishing marketing guys want to work with us, obviously. So I talk to them. So I've learned all these tricks. I've studied the great perma bears of all time. Like I understand how it works. So then this old man who's like retired, I guess he's spending his retirement trolling people on the internet. Like that's very depressing. Hopefully when I'm an old retired man, I don't spend my days trolling people on the internet. But hey, so he claims that he made up the term melt up. And he's very upset with me that the marketing folks use that for perma bears to like make extra money and whatnot. Isn't that funny? He claims to have made that up.
The first time I heard melt up was from the Stansberry folks back in 15, 16, 17. They made a major melt up call. It was all over the place. Very popular promotion. And I think maybe there was a lot of success in that campaign. And now you hear about melt up every other year, right?
Well, the greatest campaign ever was the End of America, right? Which was Stansberry. Yeah. And they made like, I don't know how many zillions of dollars with that campaign. Yep. And that was like their hedge was, but be careful because there's probably a melt up happening. So it's like the End of America, but you're going to get a melt up. So this old man is like claiming that like he made up the term melt up like 4 years ago. I'm like, bro, go back, enjoy your life, dude. Go back.
When you see a melt up, do you buy or sell stocks?
What the fuck even is a melt up? Like, what even is that?
Yeah. It's a parabolic
also called a bull market.
It's the euphoria phase of a bull cycle, in my opinion. That's the way I think about it, right? Melt up. It's a sexy phrase, but it really, to me, it speaks to euphoria. One of the last innings of a bull cycle.
So hold on. So you don't think that the fourth quarter of last year was a melt up? That was pretty melt up to me.
Melt up is a synonym for wall of worry.
I feel like it. Everything was rallying.
Melt up is what the marketing folks tell the perma bears to say when they're wrong, so that they don't look as dumb.
Yeah,
just like wall of worry.
Like, that's just a fact. I know. I talked to the marketing guys.
2020, early 21 to me was a melt up. That felt like a melt up. 2017, not really a melt up. Too orderly.
All right.
And it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I just thought it was funny. Okay, ready? I got 5 charts. 5.
Go.
These are the most important charts in the world right now. And I believe I'm qualified to say that.
Yeah.
I would say I'm fairly qualified to say that these are the 5 most important charts in the world. I'm pretty right. I don't agree on that.
Yeah, I don't think things feel euphoric yet.
We have the data. We know it's not. All right, ready? 5 charts. Slide 11, please. Ready? Amazon, the largest consumer discretionary stock on the planet, 22% of the discretionary, breaking out of this multi-year base just now, starting a leg higher. So when people are like, oh my God, it's parabolic, things can't stop going up, this just started going up. Next chart. This is software. So we have had intersector rotation, rotation among industry groups as money has come out of semiconductors. Technology has been the worst place to be in the United States of America for quite some time now, or the world for that matter. And software, despite all of that, software breaking out of a multi-year base, just now getting going.
Spencer, journalism major. Is it inter-sector rotation or intra? It would be intra-sector,
Good
right?
question. Good question.
Software semiconductors, that's intra, right, Spencer?
I thought it'd be the other way around.
Oh, it's inter. If it's within the same sector, we should figure that out.
If it's within the same
great.
thing,
Yeah.
that's intra. If it's within the same sector, that's intra.
So
If it's sector to sector, that's inter.
Thank God we've got a journalism major on the team.
Thank
You know
God.
what I mean? Like, where would we be without this sort of like alpha?
You guys would
This
be
is
you guys would be
journalism
lost
alpha
without me.
at its finest.
A lot of
Nevertheless,
in the
all-time
chat.
highs for software. Next chart, and this is Bitcoin.
Dang.
Kind of a big deal.
Buy
You may
it.
have heard about it.
Yeah.
So this is a big base. It is a multi-year base breaking out to new all-time highs. Again, just now getting going. This is not like an old thing. This is a new thing. Next chart. These are the smallest and the least relevant companies on the planet. These are the small caps, right? And, you know, the perma bears especially have been very, very sad that the least relevant and least important companies on the planet are having a hard time keeping up with the performance of the best and most important companies on the planet. So I find that hilarious as a reason to be bearish, that the bad companies can't keep up with the good ones. Imagine that. So now even the small caps, the worst, smallest, and least relevant companies in the world are now participating, breaking out to new all-time highs, coming out of this base. And the last chart, my good friends, is a one Dow Jones transportation average. I had to zoom out on this one just to remind everybody that they haven't always sucked. They just sucked for a few years, especially the airline stocks. And while the railroads and the truckers and the logistics stocks were doing great, the airlines were terrible. And what happened? All it took was the airlines to stop sucking. And now you're getting new all-time highs in the transports. The airlines index is up 50% just since that volatility spike in August.
I love it. This is that breadth expansion, right? Market internals really improving. More and more groups that we've been waiting on joining the bull market party for a long time now are joining, and they're joining in a big way. They're even starting to lead. Love to see it.
Okay, so I believe that I'm qualified to judge what the 5 most important charts in the world is. Do you want me to push back on any of that, or you think I'm spot on there?
So you hit the smalls, you hit the Bitcoin for risk appetite, you hit the transports because you're old school. I love
Amazon.
But you're not. So are you trying to not do ratio charts here? Because I think that the consumer ratio charts belong in the top 5 if we're allowing ratio charts.
No, that's a good point. So we're not allowing ratio charts.
Right.
Good point. These are absolute performance charts. Good point, Strazza. Good point.
Then I'm with you, brother. That's a great list.
Yeah. All right.
Really nice list.
Wow. Steve Strazza agreeing with my list. It reminds me of a lot. Remember early at the beginning of the year, I had 5 charts that were the most important. And I said, if these charts are above their prior cycles highs, you can't, I mean, it's just, you got to buy dips. Any correction is just that. It's just a correction if these charts are above those levels. And what were they? Industrials, broker-dealers, semiconductors, technology, and what was the 5th one?
You got industrials, broker-dealers. Was it financials?
And no, broker-dealers was the financials.
There were
broker-dealers, semis, and homies. I was going
to say there's another industrials chart on there.
Yeah, homies.
What do you think about the homies right
now? I love how Spencer calls homies industrials now, like Strazza. I like how Spencer's like now part of that crew. I see you, Spencer. I see you.
I don't even know what else they would be.
Well, they are consumer discretionary. They are not industrials. But Strazza has made a good point over the years that they trade like industrials and they should be industrials. Clearly, you agree.
We don't follow S&Ps.
I kind of agree too. I'm not going to lie. They trade more like industrials than they do discretionaries.
You know, if I had the time, I would go to the S&P and I would say, guys, let me help you. Let's reclass this whole thing.
Oh, I'm sure they're really going to care what you think.
Let's just blow it up and do it the right way. You know,
like we'll create like our own Doge, like our own, like you could be the Elon Musk of sector components.
The Doge thing is getting really interesting out here.
Technicality.
Every day. What?
You would not go to S&P. You'd go to MSCI because they're the ones that decide.
The JICs, they
no,
both
we go to S&P Global. Fuck MSCI.
You go to MSCI.
I thought it was S&P Global.
It's S&P Global. Spencer's fake news, Spencer.
No.
MSCI has theirs. S&P has theirs. Dow Jones has theirs.
It's the S&P.
They're all different.
Yeah, pretty sure.
No, they're all the same because they're all. It goes by the GICs, right?
No, they're all different.
I think MSCI and S&P
No,
like
if
agreed
you
on
look
it.
at the MSCI components and you look at S&P components, they're different. A
This
lot.
is so dumb.
Okay. Okay. This is yes. Thank you.
Even
Let's
like
move on.
emerging markets, like MSCI has their list of emerging markets, the others have their list, and they're not the same.
Okay, fine. We're both right or wrong. Can I bring on Jason Purse?
Please.
We are all now dumber. Oh, Mr. Purrs, happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Hey, how was the holidays for everybody?
Ate a lot, drank a lot, charted a lot, took care of a lot of kids.
The monthly candlesticks, though, those look good.
Man, they look good. There's a lot of them that look good. You know,
There's a
hard to
lot
pick
of
out
them that are just taking off and not looking back, and it's really you know, and you were talking about the melt up earlier, and I saw that conversation you had on there and on Twitter, and it's like, man, so many people talk about this melt up, and they're like, it's a melt up, it's going to be crazy, that it's going to crash soon, and it's like that's when you make all the money. That's when money's made.
Dude, people are dumb. So if you're not taking advantage of dumb humans, like what are we even doing here? You know,
That's the
like
point. That's how you trade well. You
like you
trade
see
on
like the
everything
ESG, they were
you
talking about the ESG funds and like how the ESG funds have just been a disaster. Like, wow, I can't believe it. Losing money in the market doesn't help save the world. Wow.
But it's literally like it's Wall Street doing the same thing they do to Main Street over and over again, is go, okay, people want to save the planet, people want to do all these great things with their life and their money, so we're going to open this thing up, just give me money, we'll save the planet for you. And they make a ton of money on their own fees, and then everybody else is losing money. It's ridiculous. Smart
and
move by Wall Street.
I don't always
terrible move
root
by
for
Main
Wall
Street.
Street. Like, you know, sometimes I'm like, you know, Wall Street sell side. Wall Street has its own things. But in this case, I'm definitely rooting for Wall Street. Good for them. You have
Yep.
all these idiots that think that losing money in their portfolio is how you're going to save the planet. Good. Here you go, morons. Like, you can't fix stupid. So you might as well take their money, right? And that's what Wall Street did. Good for them. Good for them.
I think that's spot on, because it's once again, we sit out here and we tell people, hey, these are the trends, this is what we're looking at, this is how you get paid, this is the price action. So we tell people this all the time, and then they go out there and they go, well, you know, I agree with you, but I want to save the planet, I want to do these different things, and then they give their money to these people and they're taking a huge fee out of it. And they're losing money at the same time. So I completely agree. It's a ridiculous move by Main Street. Smart move by Wall Street. It is what it is.
Good for them. All right, let's talk about the dollar. Are you more impressed with the resiliency in the equities market despite the strength in the dollar? Or do you think that the strength in the dollar is a heads up that some things might be happening underneath the surface, or is a dollar rollover now bullish for stocks? Like, how are you thinking about this whole situation?
I think too many people looked at it and went, okay, well, we're going to be bullish the dollar, and bullish the dollar and bullish the market because of the election or whatever they want to believe. That's all good and fine. However, the resiliency of the market with the dollar in an uptrend is saying something. And then also, if we talk about the dollar rolling over here, it's just going to give more. It's going to be more bullish for the market. It's going to be more bullish for gold. It's going to be even
the dollar
more
rolling
bullish for
over
Bitcoin.
though?
What?
Is the dollar rolling over?
I personally think so, but once again, it's just like we all do. We look at the charts. We start to get above that 107 level. We start to get high closes, 107, 108. I would change my mind. However, I do think it probably is still stuck in this range. Once again, the highest probability bet is always to bet on what has continued to happen. It has been in a range, but once again, when it breaks out of the range, it's all signals go one way or the other. If it broke down, I would say the same thing. If it broke up, I would say, hey, but I think if it breaks out of this range, I think that's a catalyst for risk assets. I don't think that's a good thing if it starts to really break out of the range and just continue higher.
The relationship with yields and the dollar historically has not always been this strong. I don't remember it being this strong, actually. I mean, I've seen it, yes, but like just physically trading it and remember, like kind of like on a day-to-day basis, I don't remember yields and the dollar trading this in sync for this long. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. This doesn't happen a lot, and it's something to continue to watch for. But once again, it's like you and I know, we talked about this in our master class where we talk about intermarket analysis is as these correlations get higher, at some point, these do reverse, usually. Now, once again, I can't say how long it'll last. I can't say it'll end tomorrow, but I can say that this isn't going to probably last forever. But and right now, I think it's an interesting time. We are seeing inflation moving up. And the dollar is also moving up as well. But the reason is the dollar, as you know, is weighted in the euro and the yen and all these things. And these people are having inflation at worse rates than we are. So once again, we're seeing the dollar strength right here. But I don't think that's something that's going to last. I brought another chart, which is the dollar seasonality. I don't know if somebody put that in the deck yet.
Throw up the dollar seasonals. There you go.
But if you look at that seasonality chart, most of the time into year end, we see this sell off in the dollars. More people find their dollars in better use elsewhere, better use in the market. A lot of people go, oh, it's December, tax loss selling. It's the end of the market. That's never happened. It's usually a very bullish period. Once again, people talk about all these fundamental things that they think happen, but really, if you back test it, that's not how
tax loss selling a fundamental thing, or is that technical behavior?
I think that's a fundamental thing that people talk about it and they go, it's fundamental. It's going to be the end of the market. As that's the end of the market, this is when you see all this big sell off and people don't remember, like especially election years. December is very bullish. There's very bullish seasonality in December on election years. It's very bullish seasonality generally in December. So I think the market will probably just move up higher here into year end very easily. If people want to talk about catalysts after that, sure, there's possibilities, but really it's like clear skies ahead for the most part to the end of the year is what I'm thinking here. I think the dollar probably goes down a bit, at least relieves some pressure there. And then we're going to see that show up in things like gold, things like Bitcoin. Brought another chart of the dollar and Bitcoin in 2017. So if somebody could bring that up too, it's the one with the dollar on the top and Bitcoin on the bottom.
It's a good one. It's a great chart. Jason Purse coming in hot with these charts.
Oh, I'm ready, man. I love the, and I love the intermarket analysis. It is so fun to look at. But look at this chart, man. It shows the bump after the election. 2016, you see the election, you see a little bit of a bump in the dollar. Okay, then it just rolls over real hard. I'm not saying that I'm calling a dollar crash here or the dollar's going to go down to 90 or something. I'm just saying that most of the time the dollar goes lower. And what is also important is what it could do to Bitcoin. So cryptocurrency, yes, it can do well with the dollar up.
That's the other one, Jason. The strength in Bitcoin, stocks too, but in Bitcoin as part of it, despite the stronger dollar.
Yes, and that is one of the best tells of what's going to happen to the dollar and risk assets. You see the Bitcoin showing resiliency in an environment that's hard for it to go up in. Great, that's really positive for Bitcoin. And now if the dollar rolls over, this is where you get these crazy moves, these 10x, these 20x moves. This is when the dollar rolls over and then Bitcoin and cryptocurrency takes off. And this has happened twice. There's not a ton of data on Bitcoin going back, but I'm just saying it's happened twice the same exact way. Bitcoin rolls over, the dollar rolls over, and Bitcoin just skyrockets higher. It's the same as when you looked at 2020. The dollar rolls over, Bitcoin goes higher. So I think that the best environment for Bitcoin is this rollover in the dollar. And if we see the dollar go up, once again, I wouldn't do anything different. I wouldn't go, okay, I'm going to get rid of my Bitcoin because the dollar has moved up. I would say, look at the trends. As long as the trends are holding up, continue to hold. But the best environment for Bitcoin is going to be if the dollar rolls over.
I don't know how I feel about that, Jason, which is why I wanted to ask you, like, if Bitcoin and stocks did so well with a stronger dollar, then are we so sure that a weaker dollar is going to be so good for stocks and Bitcoin?
I do. I personally think so, just from back testing, just from seeing what it does to risk assets going backwards. Now, I can't tell you, once again, there could be
I'm leaning towards that, by the way, but I like to play devil's advocate. I like to second guess myself and take the other side. And I think that's a valid taking the other side, the fact that how well it's done despite the stronger dollar, right?
It's a good point, and I think the one thing that we continue to harp on at All Star Charts is the fact that we will ride the trends no matter what. If the trend in the dollar, if the dollar is going to 150 and Bitcoin is continuing higher, we're going to be long dollars, long Bitcoin. But I do think that the environment is going to state, okay, we're going to probably roll over here. There's lots of reasons for it. There's lots of liquidity going on in the market. Some areas are showing strength in Europe, which could boost the European currency. All of these things actually look pretty good, and they're dollar negative. But once again, there's a lot of things that are dollar positive right now. So I'm kind of on a mix on the dollar. Like the dollar itself, I think could go either way. I just think the best environment for Bitcoin will be a down dollar. And I also look at that dollar chart and go, it's most likely still stuck in this range. I don't think it's getting out of this range just yet. I like the false breakout signal that we got. I know you love that signal. I love that signal. It moved up past 107. I think it even got almost near 108, and then it reversed lower. So once again, I would bet on a down dollar here, but also be prepared because the risk to reward is really small. Sam and I put out a report in the Gold Rush the other week. Buy gold here. And basically, the dollar was at the top end of the range. Gold miners were sitting at the 200-day moving average, and this is where we got this huge boost in those. So
let's talk about this because we talked about this in the meeting last week. For me, if the dollar's rolling over and yields are rolling over, you buy bonds and you buy gold and silver, and you're saying don't worry about the bonds, focus on the gold and silver. And you made a great point. Is because when you zoom out, you have much longer term tailwinds. So while in the short term, bonds and gold and silver might move together, bigger picture, you got a much larger tailwind happening in precious metals. And I agreed with that, right?
Yes, and that's the big thing to look at here. And it's why we look at relative strength. It's why we want to find the areas where people are rotating money into as technicians, is because we get to figure out what's going to lead. Because really, it's like, what are we doing if we're trying to buy things that are just performing okay? Whether that's not our point. Our point is to find the things that are outperforming.
Yeah.
Gold and silver, best catalysts. And I also don't know, how long will a bounce in bond prices and a rollover in yields, how long will that happen for in this type of environment where inflation is very sticky? It just keeps coming back. Every time it's gone, we see a new report that inflation starts to tick up again. My models are starting to point at an inflationary regime coming back again. So, I mean, I would rather own gold. I'd rather own silver. I'd rather own Bitcoin over bonds right now.
Throw up that dollar index chart one more time. One of the things that in the meeting that we had last week is we talked about, when we're recognizing trends, right? The first thing we want to do is identify the direction of the primary trend, figure out what type of market environment we're in, and then decide which tools and strategies are best for that type of market. When you look at the dollar, this is a sideways range. Like there's no way that any logical human, which I know that humans don't think logically, which is why we're here, right? So I get that. But logically speaking, how do you look at this chart and not come to the conclusion this is sideways? Like, who's going to say this is up? Who's going to say this is down? It's fucking sideways.
And I agree. That's the point I'm getting at here, is like, I would rather bet on something staying stuck in a range than just say, okay, it broke out a little bit. It's obviously just going to go higher forever. It's like, you don't know. We came right back into the range. So once again, it's a easy risk level. You want to put a stop at 109, a stop at 108, and just, ride it down. And if it reverses, you get out with a small loss. Great. And then you could do the same with gold. You can do the same with silver. Like, there's very clear risk levels here. So the risk to reward looks great for all of these trades, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's gold, silver, any of these risk assets that we're talking about right now at All Star Charts. So, we have all of these trades that are kind of working in our favor right now. And I think the dollar is probably going to be the catalyst to make them go a lot further. And if the dollar goes a lot higher, we have a clear risk. We can get out with very small losses and walk away.
Does this break out? Does this break down? Or do we stay sideways? Let's just say 6 to 9 months.
Ooh, I like these. These are fun. So for me, I would say down. I'm still going with down. I still think the biggest catalyst that we have again is inflation. Like, I think inflation is the wild card that some people are talking about. And, you know, it's kind of on the back burners at the moment. It happened in such a big way in 2020, 2021, 2022 even. People don't want to talk about it anymore. They don't want to think it's happening. So really, we're starting to see this little uptick in inflation. We are seeing like a lot of people going, Donald Trump's coming in, so that's going to cure inflation. Now, I don't care about politics at all, but I am saying I do know what certain nationalist policies might do to inflation, making steel prices go up. We can't get it from, if we're starting to build stuff in the United States, prices of these things will go up a lot higher. Some of the ideas that they have for agriculture would make agriculture prices go a lot higher. So once again, you can see the commodities kind of bubbling up here a little bit. Now, once again, oil, energy doesn't look that great. Natural gas does, but that's a whole nother thing that people don't like to talk about.
A whole nother thing.
But natural gas is looking pretty good here. But a lot of people aren't paying attention to that. But if you look at the soft commodities, they're going crazy. You look at coffee, it's hitting new highs. You look at all of these basically all of these softs are just making huge moves. Lumber is just raging day after day. You've got coffee doing nicely. Cocoa is almost near its old highs, which is crazy because I didn't think that was going to even happen again. But cocoa looks like it's starting to make a move again. So once again, we're seeing this bubble up under the surface right now, especially as a commodities trader. That's what I do. I'm a commodities trader. I have fun. Like, that's what I'm looking at every day. I look at the actual commodities, and they're really kind of bubbling up under the surface. I think inflation comes back. I think it puts some pressure on the dollar. And that's probably going to lead the dollar a little bit more to the downside over the long term. I don't know what happens in the short term. It could bounce, clear risk levels, or how we're going to survive this. But I do think long term, it's going to move that way. And I think Bitcoin's also hinting at the dollar's probably going to move lower. I think most of the time when you see a risk asset that does very well in a down dollar environment move higher, that's usually a tip off on what's going to happen with the dollar.
Last thing on the dollar, not to like beat a dead horse, because like we always say, like it's not always the wisest decision to overthink the dollar. And one of the things that I love doing is overthinking the dollar. So let's overthink the dollar for one more minute. Within the dollar, it's not just like this thing like the dollar. You've got the dollar index, which is a lot of euro, British pound, Japanese yen. Then you have emerging market currencies, which are this whole other thing. So when you think about the dollar, I know we're talking about the dollar index, but are there other angles in which you are looking at maybe Mexican peso, Aussie CAD? Like, what's going on there?
So like different ways to play it.
Yeah, just to think, not even to play it, like just to think about it. Like when we think about the dollar, are we just talking about the dollar index, or like are there other thoughts, other things happening underneath the surface? Because there are a lot of currencies out there that don't look as bad as the euro does.
Yeah, so the pound looks really good. The yen is making a big bounce right now, and a lot of people aren't talking about that either. So you're seeing some of these currencies start to make moves under the surface, and it's interesting that they're holding up under the surface with the dollar being so strong lately. So I am seeing there's a possibility here of this rotation out of dollars into other currencies. Not to mention, like, there's a lot of turmoil in the world. There's a lot of things that are getting tossed out politically, one way or the other.
There's not a lot of turmoil in the world, Jason.
But there's always a lot of turmoil.
A war in the Middle East.
But there's not a lot of times where I can
some crazy dictator somewhere in some country.
But there's not a lot of times where you see a president go out and say he's going to do 100% tariffs on the BRICS nations. Like that I have never seen that before. So that's different to me. So I'm trying to not be too political, but I am saying that, hey, that is interesting. That is something that can put some pressure on the dollar. And I don't know, where that ends up. Once again, is he just negotiating? Is this things are these things real? What do the other countries do? It's kind of a war games thing that's kind of going on right now. So it's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting time for macro. And generally, like, I love these times. I love trading these times because there's a lot of interesting things. I don't think about it politically at all. I just think about it as what's going to happen next. How do I position myself to make money here? And I think some of these things that are happening are very dollar negative. And because they're dollar negative, I would still bet more on the down dollar. But at the end of the day, we're all price action traders. So getting back to, look at your levels. We get above 108. We start closing above there. I would get out of some of these positions. But right now, I would say we're going back into the range, probably heading to the downside of the range. But also, I wanted to point to another thing on that dollar chart. While we're overthinking the dollar, let me point to one more overthinking of the dollar.
While we're overthinking the dollar.
So somebody could bring back up that dollar chart if you can. But if we're looking at that divergence on the RSI, and you brought this up on the meeting last week on Wednesday, the Portfolio Accelerator meeting, which is if you see the RSI, and the RSI has divergence.
Throw the chart, guys.
If the RSI has divergence like it does, and then we start to break out above and start to head higher after it has divergence. See there, we have the divergence, bearish momentum divergence. If it starts to move higher here, that's usually a very positive sign for a trend. And that's something you brought up the other day, and that points, and it wasn't about the dollar even, but that points right to this chart on the dollar. And it's something that I talk about in the post I'm going to post today, which is if we break out to the upside after this bearish momentum divergence, I would start betting on a higher dollar. I would start betting on at least a run to 113, 115.
Wow. Yeah, huh?
It's exactly what we were talking about the other day. It really points to that. So here is a toss up. The highest probability bet is we go back into the range. The low probability bet is we break out. However, that's how trading works. You never know anything 100%. Sometimes you have to take that trade both ways. Be flexible.
There's nothing more bullish for the dollar than breaking out above those levels through that potential divergence.
Yes, exactly. So if it breaks out above those levels after that potential divergence, I would say time to buy dollars. The thesis is wrong. Let's move the other direction. And that's just how trading works sometimes. So once again, nobody's really trading the Dixie. A lot of people don't trade it. However, it's something that should be on everybody's mind, everybody's first chart that they look at every day. What's going on with the dollar? Is it moving higher? Is it moving lower? How can that affect risk assets? And then just go from there. But generally, ride the trends in all of these assets until they end. And the dollar might be just signaling some things might be coming to an end if it's moving higher. And the dollar could signal some things are going to keep going if it moves lower.
What do you say we bring in Sean? Jason, you want to stick around for a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought I had Sean. Where's don't have Sean. Sean's coming on. I just I don't have him here at this exact moment. So
that's a bummer.
Sorry. I mean, he'll be here.
Why don't we do a quick little rundown? Markets open. Not much has changed. You got the Dow futures down 100 points, down 0.25%. You've got S&P 500 futures still flat. NASDAQ futures up almost 2/3% this morning. 30-year bond futures down slightly, 0.5%. Crude oil up 0.5%. Kind of just market's still kind of just trying to figure it out after that low volume sort of regime. Bitcoin making a comeback this morning. Crypto in general. All
right. I missed one headline, and that's Pat Gelsinger, CEO of Intel, is retiring or retired because it's effective yesterday.
Talk about the who gives a fuck news item of the week. Like, I don't think anybody knew who that guy was.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. He was like their savior a few years ago.
You want to retire also?
He was going to save them a few years ago. Didn't work out that way. We do have Sean. I'm bringing him on.
Do it. I love Sean's intro there. All those highlights of Sean in India. That was a good time.
Good times, man. When are we going back? We gotta get back there.
I'm far. Hungry. It's really, really, really far.
Yeah. I'm hungry, man.
That food was so far that we swing by Japan on the way home just because it's convenient. That's how far India is.
like stopping off at the liquor store on the way home.
Dude, that is the move. If you are coming back from India, go east and stop in Tokyo. You get, what is it? It's like a 9-hour layover. 9 hours in Tokyo. That's 2 meals. So you go straight from the airport. They got lockers. You put your shit in the locker. You get on an Uber. You go straight to the fish market. You eat as much sushi as possible. You're going to be hungry in an hour or two. Get some, Wagyu beef. Get a nice steak. Drink a little. Get back on the plane. Pass out. You'll be home before you know it.
Don't gloss over the fact that we had to run at full speed through the airport because we were extremely late to catch our flight.
Oh, yeah. That was our own fault. We were taking our sweet time with that Wagyu.
For those of us of a certain age who remember those old O.J. Simpson commercials, I think it was for Avis, when he would run through the airport and hurdle chairs and stuff, like that was us.
Dude, of course, the Buffalo guy is still like ranting and raving about this murderer. Like you go to Buffalo, they have his name like on the rafters. Like O.J. Simpson, like our hero. Like what a bunch of douchebags you are up there.
You know, Thanksgiving is OJ's holiday, man. Nobody carves a turkey like OJ Simpson.
Oh, stop, dude. So bad. Good. So bad.
Hey, so all right, I'm glad you guys brought me on because I know that the end of the month is always JC's favorite time when it comes to charts.
I like to look at it as the beginning of the month, but okay.
Right. Well, the beginning of the month is also often my favorite time of the month. Not every month, but this time, or not every month, but this time it is because we have positions that have December options that are expiring. And this is a time when we start to look into harvesting some profits. And I shared a chart there in the Slack there, Spencer, if you've got it, a trade that we've been riding since the summer. And now it's time to tighten up some stops. This is JC. You're going to love this. This is a 15 bagger. Do you like that? 15 bagger. We got into these. We got into December 55 calls here in the Canadian Imperial Bank. Go Canada.
Canada.
We basically paid $1 for them, $1.05 if you want to be specific. They're currently trading $15 in the money, JC, or almost $15 in the money. That's a 15 bagger if you want to check my math. It's pretty good.
You want to throw up slide 10 there just to show what's been happening there. You know, don't confuse brains with a bull market. Like, you know, Sean, we're not geniuses. It's really just a trend. Show what Canada's been doing, This is the Canada TSX Composite Index. Let's keep in mind what's happening in Canada. They have almost no technology exposure and they have zero healthcare because like they don't have healthcare companies in Canada. And the worst two sectors are technology and healthcare. And the best sectors are financials, industrials, and what's loaded up in Canada index, financials, industrials, no healthcare, no tech, or very little tech, especially compared to the United States. New all-time highs. Shout out Canada.
Shout out Canada.
Dude, I
absolutely.
love Canada. I don't think that many people love Canada. Even Canadians don't like Canada as much as I like Canada.
Yeah. So let's give a quick little. I just want to finish that thought on that CM trade. You know, for swing traders, and this is true whether you're a stock trader or an options trader. It doesn't really matter, but I guess it does matter if you're an options trader because we have a ticking clock, right? We have an expiration to deal with, so time is running out. And when I'm holding options that are starting to approach expiration, which for me as a swing trader, as soon as the calendar month, you know, turns to December 1st in the expiration month, that's when I start paying attention. And now it's time to tighten up stops. We've had a relatively loose stop on this position because it's been working very well for us. But now as we approach expiration, we don't want to give too many of these profits back, right? We're sitting on a 15 bagger. Is it going to finish as a 15 bagger? I don't know. Maybe it'll go higher. But I don't want to give too much back. So my best practice on swing trades as we're getting close to our expiration day is I like to trail and I use a little discretion here, of course, but I like to trail a 3 to 5 day low as the stop for my position. So whatever the intraday, I use the intraday prices. Someone asked me in my chat this morning, do you only focus on the closing prices in this case, or do you look at intraday? In this situation, I look at the intraday prices. And I look back, the previous 3 to 5 days. I don't want to see the stock retrace below the previous 3 to 5 day low. That's my line in the sand, and it's an approximate area. It's not. I'm not managing it to the penny, right? But if we lose in this case on that chart about 3 days ago, if we lose that low from 3 days ago, that's it. I'm going to get out of the trade, book the winner, and congratulate myself on a nice trade. But hopefully, CM just kind of hangs here and goes a little higher, and then we'll have an opportunity to raise this stop a couple more times as we head into expiration. We don't always exit trades like this on expiration day, but
it's happened before.
This happens once in a while. It's pretty nice when it does.
It does happen sometimes. Doesn't always work out that way, and that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to do that, but sometimes. And usually if we're selling it on expiration day, it's probably going higher, and we should probably roll it. Is that not right there, Sean?
That's
You
not
don't
a bad
do that, but
process.
you probably should in hindsight.
That's not a bad process. But you know what, JC? It's an interesting point because, and I don't have the data to back this up, but anecdotally, I've observed numerous times where a stock will run up into the monthly expiration, and oftentimes that turns out to be a near-term top. Maybe not the top.
Final squeeze into the end. People just
yeah. Again, I don't have the data on how often that happens, but I've observed that happen fairly often. In fact, we had a trade, I don't know, a few months ago where we got out on expiration day, and that turned out to be the top, for like the next 4 months. So, maybe there's a little options voodoo going on there. I don't know, but either way, time to tighten up stops if you're riding and this goes for any position, any options trader. If you're a swing trader like me with a time frame of 3 to 6 months on your winning trades, once you get in, if you're holding December options now, might be time to start tightening those stops because you don't want to give any back here.
I'm with you. Don't look now, but perhaps we are finally getting that rotation into technology. Massive underperformer technology.
Let's go. That's the next leg, baby.
So think about how well the stock market has done despite the massive underperformance out of technology. What happens if technology stocks actually become a leader again?
Well, it won't matter much to Canada.
No, it will not. It will not. Canadians just do not like technology companies. They like their natural resources, eh? They like their banks. They like their industrials, even though some Canadians were telling me that their industrial exposure is all American exposure. They're like headquartered in Canada, but it's all American industrial exposure. I thought that was interesting.
I think we need to do a boots on the ground, deep dive into some of these Canadian companies. What do you think, JC?
Dude, I'm so down to go to. I mean, I love Toronto and Vancouver for different reasons. Like if gun to my head, I don't know where I'd rather go. Probably Vancouver. I guess maybe it depends on the time of the year because Whistler's awesome. But
I agree. Both are probably great, but I've never been to Vancouver, so I would vote for Vancouver.
Dude, you never been to Vancouver?
Oh, as a Colorado guy, you would love Vancouver. You would love Vancouver.
Cold as shit. So we're going to Vancouver. We're not going in January to Whistler. We're going like in late March, early April. And let me tell you something. They party. Like
Canadians party.
Kind of like the Aspen of Canada, right? Whistler's the Aspen of Canada.
If you say so. Dude,
it's crazy. These Canadians, they're partying, bro. All day long, middle of the day, just going wild. Great.
We do some recess?
Please.
All right.
All right, Spencer, tell us about your fake garlic.
5 of us.
5.
Ooh, 5 top. Look at this.
Wow.
Pretty soon we'll be an Octobox.
Look at us.
The more boxes, the more aggressively you need to be buying stocks, is the old saying. Like, I don't know if they still do that on basic cable television, but like in the old days, like when people used to watch that stuff, like there was like a signal. Like the more boxes that they had up, the more aggressively you need to be buying stocks. Because the producers are like paranoid, or
5 is a bull market.
Before we hit recess, I just want to give an update on the super micro drama because it's like unfolding as the day goes on. So, special committee supported by outside counsel Cooley LLP, which is a law firm, and forensic accounting firm Secretariat, finds no evidence of misconduct on the part of management, the board, or the audit committee. No restatement of reported financials. Board adopts recommendations of the special committee and appoints new CAO, chief accounting officer, and they approved the transition to a new CFO. So the CFO is gone too. CFO just got the boot, David Wygand. And then friend of the show, Herb Greenberg does point out, which is a great point. He says, I can't make this up. After a super fast review, SMCI's special committee finds the company did nothing wrong as former auditors E&Y had suggested they did. Who is the special committee? It's a special committee of one person who also has another full-time job.
Did Herb Greenberg say that?
Yeah, like
That's
I said,
funny. Shout out Herb.
These reviews, whether or not they're going to catch anything, I'm skeptical. So I'm with Herb on this.
Shout out Herb Greenberg.
All right, go ahead on your recess.
I like that.
If no one has anything, I'll go.
crazy high.
I just found a scorpion in my house. You see that picture?
No.
The size of the palm of my hand. Huge scorpion.
You probably
Ooh,
shouldn't
wow.
touch that.
I didn't know they have scorpions in the Keys.
That picture doesn't do it justice, dude. It was down there with its claws going. Just killed it. Just killed it.
Is that common? I lived in Florida. I didn't know we had
you
scorpions.
Could deep fry. You could deep fry the scorpion.
In the Keys, that's probably like the scariest predator that we have.
You know that you could grind them. You can grind up the scorpions and you could smoke it like a
Yeah,
blunt.
we don't do that.
They do that, like I think, like in Thailand or something. It gives you like a crazy high.
They're poisonous.
I've never smoked a scorpion. I don't even think I've ever seen a scorpion. But yeah, that's a thing.
Okay. That was my first one.
You guys want to talk about
like a scorpion spliff?
I know this.
Yeah.
I know this isn't college football, but do you guys want to talk about Josh Allen's Heisman moment last night? I mean, come on, boys.
That was so sick.
He's awesome, dude.
I know JC
Heisman
wants to
isn't
talk about it.
What Heisman?
That was so sick, man. He threw and caught a touchdown pass on the same play.
How did they count that in the stats? Is that a touchdown that he threw to himself?
Yep, it's a touchdown that he threw to himself.
Fantasy players double dipped on that play. Whoever had Josh Allen.
Is that really true? You got a reception and a throw? Wow.
Yep.
No. He did not get a reception. It was not a catch.
But
it was
it's
a lateral.
Touchdown. But it's a touchdown.
But it's a receiving touchdown.
Yeah. So are his numbers good enough? Like, is he in the MVP running this year?
I mean, look, obviously I'm biased, so don't take my opinion. But if you check the all the sports feeds this morning, there's a lot of talk about Josh Allen, the lead contender for MVP this season. Look, I'm biased, so don't take my word for it. You do your own research.
I'll say, if not the MVP, he's the most fun to watch. Just such a blast watching.
Phil there in chat brings up a good point. Got to watch Buffalo in the Lions game in 2 weeks. That's going to be quite a game in 2 weeks.
Lions are good.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got Buffalo and Detroit, the battle of the cities who think they're Canadian.
Hey, did anybody notice that the Giants scored more points than the Dolphins on Thanksgiving with like our 18th quarterback?
Nope.
That happened.
Did anyone really think the Dolphins had a chance in Green Bay in the snow? Come on.
Nope.
The money line was 145. If I was a betting man, I would have taken it.
But same with the Niners last night.
Real fast before we go, I have some recess. I'm letting everyone know I'm probably gonna need some time off in June. just so everyone knows.
Yeah. Congratulations, man.
Yep. Thank you.
Wow, look at that. Congratulations, my man.
Awesome.
Well done. Good shooting, bro.
Let's go back to the Spencer Jr.
That's awesome.
How do I go back?
Spencer. That's
There we
awesome.
Oh, that's sick, dude. That's awesome. Looks like a big baby.
Good
Strazza, we're waiting on you, bro.
Ha.
Yep. So we told our families on Thanksgiving.
Oh.
So that
Hey,
was
you know what,
amazing.
Spencer, that's
Congrats,
hilarious.
Spencer.
Or not hilarious, but I did the same thing when our son was when we got pregnant. We went home to Buffalo to visit our families for Thanksgiving. We did the same thing. Look at that.
Oh, great comment in the chat from Phil. Spencer, now you can go to Disney and not be a creep.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dude, you better start saving money for those Disney trips, bro.
I was just gonna say you could sell that Disney stock to pay for that birth.
I also could do that. So thank you everyone for the well wishes and some funny chat comments. So it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend all around.
Your life is over as you know it, Spencer.
I know.
That's it.
No, it's just starting. It's just starting. This is great news.
Over.
Yep. So anyway, for those wondering about such things, June 1st is the due date. It is a boy. And
what are you going to name him? Juan Carlos?
Juan Carlos is going to be the name.
A Jewish Juan Carlos. I love that.
That's right.
They got Jubins. They got Jubins. They exist.
They do exist. That's right. So yeah, I think what is she? I think she's 14 weeks as of yesterday, I think. So
wow.
Yeah. That's going to happen.
Best wishes to mom and dad. Congratulations, bro. Seriously.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Amazing.
I was saving that one for the very end. And on that note, we're done.
Starts.
Back to work, everyone.
Get your rest, Spencer, because you ain't sleeping after June.
Yeah, I know. That's what I hear.
It gets better after that, though. Juan
All right.
Carlos Israel has a nice ring to it.
I do like that.
Unfortunately, we have found there aren't that many good boys' names. Girls' names, there are quite a few that we like. Boys' names, it's way harder to name a boy than it is to name a girl.
Josh Allen Israel, that has a good ring to it too.
Josh
Tua Israel. Tua Israel, that would be good.
Just ask the cat for names. They got Strazza, Carlos, Israel. I mean, they're got to figure it out for you, Spencer.
Well, there is one name that's off the table, and that's Jordan. I can't name my son Jordan Israel. That'd be insane.
Why not?
That'd be ridiculous.
I think Joshua Israel's a good
Jordan Israel.
Good
neighboring countries.
Go with Jordan.
Jordan Israel. They're next to each other.
Nobody pays attention to the map. Nobody knows what Jordan is.
Don't name your kid a last name. You know, like give him a first name.
Yeah.
I'm good with names, though. Reach out. I can help you.
I'm good with names. This guy.
All right.
What?
All right.
Good. He's good with names. Steve Strazza Jr. Very creative there by your parents.
Still not a junior. Still not a junior.
Why? Because you have a different middle name.
Junior.
Dude, you're so junior.
All right. Chart Request Live at 1:00. That's what we got today. Thanks to Jason and Sean for hanging out. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everyone, for all the well wishes. Yeah, definitely not doing that one, Dawson. All right. Smash the like. Go make some money. We'll see you later. All right.
Adios.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for having me on.